Good morning, welcome back to the channel. I'm Danny. It's Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today, my daughter and I actually got out already and ran 4 miles. My cross-country runner got out, wanted to run. She ran 4 miles in like 35 minutes. I did it in 42, which is, at least I got it done. Today I'm going to be frying a turkey, and I think I'm going to try and showcase a little bit of that. Right now I'm out here looking at my swimming pool. We don't close our pool in. I'm going to pan the camera around so you can see it. It's pretty green. Got lots of leaves in it. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and try to clean that up a little bit. But then I'm going to kind of show you the steps I take when I fry a turkey, and I hope everybody's doing good. So stick with me on this video, guys, and I'll show you what it's all about. Thanks. Okay, so first things first, you can see we've set our burner up away from the house. Just step back and pan out a little bit, that way you can see. Now, some would say, why don't you just set it up on your concrete? Well, when you get the oil hot and drop your bird in, it just starts bubbling out and spitting out and everything. Alright, so I got a new propane tank here. Had to go pick this up yesterday because I had 2 extras, but they were both empty from grilling over the summer. One thing to keep in mind, you see this little nut bolt thing right here. You see these little lines on it. That indicates that that is a left-handed thread. So the whole righty-tighty, lefty-loosey doesn't come into play. So you actually have to screw that in backwards, which is kind of difficult to do with the it's the correct hand, but anyhow, I want to make sure that that's not cross-threaded. So we're going to get the burner and everything set up, and then we'll get our pot and oil set up, and I'm taking my time with this because it's not quite ready to start getting everything hot. So I'm going to cut this and we'll come back in a little bit. Okay friends, we got our pot out here, got our bottle hooked up, and we've also brought out our oil. So to our pot we are about to add this 3-gallon jug of oil, and it will possibly take a little more than that. I've got another jug out in the garage, but we're going to add this first, and we're going to let that get hot. I got a 20-pound bird, so it's going to sit kind of deep, and so we're going to take a look at that first. So we're going to get the oil poured in, and then we're going to light the burner. It's time to start getting oil hot. Okay, so one thing I like to do is make sure I have my fire under here first. You bring the gas to your fire. There we go. Alright, let's talk turkey prep. You got to make sure, absolutely sure, that your turkey is thawed out. And you can tell if you can kind of move it around, it should be. So I'm going to save you a little bit of the gross part, but we got to get this out of the bag. We got to get the innards and stuff out. I like to take those things and put them in a plastic bag and throw them in the trash, because I mean, you can think your trash man is probably a week out on picking this stuff up, so this kind of keeps the smell down of your garbage. But we're going to get this out. Once we get that all prepped, we're actually going to use an injection on this bird. We're going to use this Zatarain's Creole butter Cajun injector, and we're going to inject it. And I may show you a couple of shots of that. But first things first, we've got to prep this thing. We've got to get it ready to be injected. So we're going to cut this, and I'll come back in just a moment. Alright friends, so we got our bird injected. We've got our pedestal set in. We actually lost our hook several years ago. So I made one out of this metal coat hanger. People think, oh, there's no way it'll hold that. This is a 20-pound bird, and it holds it just fine. So we'll be transporting that out to the oil. And I'm leaving it in the sink right now. When it's time to go drop it, I will put it on that pan, and we will take it out and drop it in the oil in just a moment. And then I'll come back and sanitize the sink, because as you can imagine, you don't want to leave all that potential salmonella and whatever. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go out, we're going to check the oil and see how hot it is, and because it will go down when we drop the bird, and we may even have to add oil after we drop the bird to make sure it's totally covered. All right, so we're going to cut this. Okay, back out at our pot. Our oil is sitting at 300 degrees. I'd like to get it closer to 350 before we drop our bird. Now, let's talk cook time. So cook time is 3 minutes per pound. What we've got is a 19.5 pound bird, virtually a 20 pound bird. So you're talking an hour on the nose. Now, one thing you can do is when you're cooking it, if your temp is running a little on the high side, is we're gonna try and keep it around 350, but it may be a struggle. When that bird starts getting done, your temperature, your oil is going to start spiking, and so you got to kind of be attentive for that. While it's cooking, I'm going to do some more work to the pool. I'm going to be out here. We're dropping it a little bit early because we've got some family that are shut in. That we're going to take a plate of food to, so we're trying to get our turkey done early so we can do that. So we're about 50 degrees away from dropping that bird in. Shouldn't be more than maybe 15 minutes. And once we drop it, then we'll have to gauge how much oil we have. I've got another jug over there that we'll add some to. It's a whole lot easier to add oil after the fact than it is to take oil out. If you overflow that pot with that oil and it gets down in that flame, then you got a fireball, so you got to be careful of that. So I expect that a little bit, maybe not a whole lot, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll check in just a minute. Okay, friends, our oil is right at 350 degrees. Sorry if you can't see that. Got my bird out here, and I'm wearing a glove, and I'm gonna drop this slowly into the oil. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Now I try to let it dry a little bit before I drop it, because you know the whole oil and water thing. Slowly easing it down into the oil. Okay. Now that's what we look like. We got a little bit of the bird still sticking out of the oil. So we are going to add just a little bit. It's not going to take a whole lot though, because the bird will actually shrink a little bit while it cooks. You can see we were at 350, it's steadily dropping, so that's to be expected. We're going to give it a minute. We'll add maybe a touch of oil to it, but now we're on the clock. We're going to let this go 1 hour, and right now we're at 10:42, so 11:42 you ought to be able to pull it. Alright, we'll check back in a little bit. Okay, just a quick update. I'm going to try to get a little closer to the camera to speak so you can hear me a little better. It's been about, I don't know, how long has it been? About 15 minutes. And you see my oil is right at 300 degrees. So I did have to add a couple of quarts of oil, roughly, to the pot to get that dude up to where it's covered the bird now. So you can see that that's not an issue. So I added that oil, and then I've let it cook a little bit, did some stuff to my pool, and now I've come back over and I've actually turned the temp up. I'm gonna try to get that thing up as close to 325 as I can. It's cooking, but it's, you know, to make sure my timing's right, I might have to pour the coal to it, if you will. So just a quick update. Things are looking good. Pot's looking good. Birds completely submerged. Pool looks better, so we're getting some work done too. So probably cut it right here and maybe show you when we pull it. Okay? What do you say, Dexter? Alright guys, just an update. We got about 15 minutes left. Temperature is up around 350. And hopefully you can see we got some color on the bird. The bird is looking a little brown. I've actually had to start turning the gas down, so the temperature of the oil and everything is going up. So I'm having to turn the gas down, which is a good thing. I've been passing the time away. I made a Facebook post about this that was actually replied to by Amio. And then I actually sat down and watched a Carltopia video. So, what's up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. I'm going to sit down for another minute or two. And we should be ready to pull this bird here in just a few minutes. We'll make sure I got a pan to put it in, all that kind of stuff. And looking forward to it. So we'll show you what the finished product looks like in just a little bit. Alright? Peace. Okay. So we're going to cut this off. Turn the gas off. I'm going to try to lift it and film at the same time. Let you get a look at it. You can see there are lots of little pockets and stuff in there that have to drain oil out. That's what she looks like. Alright, I'm going to let this drip off for a minute, transfer it to a pan, get it inside, and then show it to you. Okay, so there's the finished bird. I'm actually going to wrap this with aluminum foil best I can. And we're going to let it rest for about 30 minutes before we start slicing it. And that lets some of the oil kind of drain out of it. Let it cool off a bit. And then we're going to slice some and start plating some up for some family. And that should do it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Happy Thanksgiving from my family to yours, and we will catch you on the next one.